Okay, in this problem we're given U1 and S2. So in my picture, which you should have drawn on your paper, you need to label your U1 as 24 and S2 as 36. We're going to start off by finding S1. Instead of S1, I'm just going to use X just to make it a little bit easier. So we're always going to do hypotenuse over leg. So looking at this big triangle, so that's this triangle right here, if I want to put my hypotenuse over leg, I have my x plus 36 for my hypotenuse, because it's this whole side right here. And then the leg that I know is 24, so hypotenuse over leg equals, now let's look at this smaller triangle right here. And my hypotenuse over leg for the smaller triangle is going to be 24, because that's my hypotenuse, over, and the leg I want to use here is x. I don't want to use a, because then I'd have two different variables going on. So we cross multiply. So we've got x squared plus 36x. Make sure that you distribute your x to both the x and the 36. And then equals 24 times 24, which is 576. So we're going to subtract over the 576, and we will have a quadratic to solve. Alright, so we're looking for some pair of numbers that multiply to negative 576 and add to 36. This is factoring like you did back in Algebra 1. So what I would do, since 576 is so big, is I would just start dividing it by things. I know that I took 24 times 24 to get to 576. So I know that 12 would divide it, because 12 divides 24. So that's the first thing that I tried. And I got that 576 is just 12 times 48. 12 and 48 can add to 36 if you make the 12 negative. So negative 12 and 48 multiplies to negative 576, and they add to 36. So the way you're going to write that is x minus 12 and x plus 48. Okay, so now to factor, I am going to say, okay, what makes this 0? So what number could I plug in for 12 that makes, what number could I plug in for x that makes this 0? Well, if I plug 12 in, I get 0. So I'm going to have x equals 12 there, and for the second parentheses, if I were to plug negative 48 in, then that would equal 0. So my solutions so far are 12 and negative 48. But I can't have a negative side length, so my answer for S1 is just 12. Okay, now that we know that our S1 is 12, I'm going to go into my picture here and label that. If you look at my blue triangle again, we have the hypotenuse aside, and then we need to find a, so we're going to use the Pythagorean Theorem. 24 squared equals a squared plus 12 squared in order to find a. So I have and then if I take the square root of 432, I get 12 square root 3. If you have trouble taking the square root in your calculator, maybe this is too big of a square root, then you can go down here to wolframalpha.com, and the way you would enter that in is you would put SQRT, and then in parentheses put 432, and it will give you the square root simplified as 12 square root 3. Okay, so now I've got a, which is 12 square root 3. I'm going to go back to my picture and label that. Okay, so now I have my other triangle. Let me color my other one so you know which one I'm talking about. We'll go with this green triangle right here. This triangle I know the two legs of, 12 square root 3 and 36. So I'm going to use the Pythagorean Theorem again. So I have hypotenuse squared, so we'll do c squared equals 12 square root 3 squared plus 36 squared. Make sure that you enter it in your calculator looking like that with the parentheses so that you square the correct thing. So we've got c squared equals 1,728 whenever you enter that in your calculator, and then take the square root of both sides. We get 24 square root 3. Again, if you have an issue with doing that in your calculator, go to that wolframalpha.com website, and that will make it a lot easier.